very good morning again from a sunny place called Sweden. Sunshine, blue skies, amazing weather, 13 degrees but feels like 20. Fantastic. Whoever tells you Sweden is cold lies to you. Heading back towards Jönköping and then to Malmo. Then I will take the bridge to cross from Malmo to Copenhagen, and from Copenhagen I will drive down all the way to Rodby, where I will take a ferry to Germany, then drive through Germany to Belgium, stay at my sister's house for a couple of days, and then drive to Calais, take another ferry. Living on an island is a nightmare. It's expensive to get there, but the beauty of driving everywhere is that you can stop and do whatever you want. And at the moment I have so much stuff in the back of this car, things that I need but I would not normally travel with if I was flying, because you have limited amount of weight allowance for the luggage, not for the people. I think they should weigh people and luggage together, and there should be an allowance for that. Because sometimes you see the person next to you and like, that person weighs 3 times as much as me. So the plane's going to use more fuel and I'm not allowed to take 1 extra kilo. Anyway, the main purpose of the trip to Sweden was to look at some cottages in the Swedish countryside. I want to buy a little cottage here so I can come and stay away from people and be in the middle of nowhere. I've seen quite a few, and some are very nice, some are in a bad condition. In the UK, when you buy a country house or a cottage somewhere, you never have to ask if it has electricity or running water or a toilet, because it's kind of given that it will be there. But here I found out that you have to check, because there's so many places that don't have running water, they don't have electricity, they don't even have toilets, so they still have those big holes with a toilet seat on top. So yeah, a little backward, but I managed to see quite a few, and today I'm heading off to see some more, and hopefully I'll find one that I really like and make it mine. Because every time I come to Sweden I think it is such a lovely place, it's so relaxing. It always feels like I've come home, even though I've never actually lived in Sweden. So this time I thought, why not buy something here, put some roots down to see if I want to live here for a longer period than This was a quick update. Well, not so quick, because I talk slow. I talk specifically slow for the YouTube channel because I noticed that there's so many people whose YouTube channels are just incomprehensible because they speak so fast, and unless you're a native speaker, it's harder for viewers to understand. So I want to make sure that people from all around the world can watch my channel and understand what I'm saying rather than blah, 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 blah. This is now 24 hours later. Yesterday I left Stockholm at 9:30 in the morning, and today it is 11:45 and I'm in Germany on the Autobahn. Before I talk about what I'm doing, let's talk about the Range Rover quickly. This car is fantastic. I've been bragging about it and saying good things about it. It is so fantastic. It's a 3-liter twin turbo engine, and because it's diesel, or I don't know what they've done, it has so much torque and it pulls so fast. On the motorway, I have no problem chasing after the fastest cars, and I put the cruise control at 180 kilometers an hour, and I just sat back. It is so good, so fast, so comfortable, and as I said, I have half of my belongings in the back. Well, my dog and some clothes, but it's so convenient. I don't have to think what I'm packing. I just throw everything in it. I think the road trips in this car are far more fun than in the Porsche, because in the Porsche the bumps and the bad road surface is very, very obvious. So when you're shaking a lot on a motorway or a long journey, the muscles in your body, they compensate by tightening up a little so you don't feel like a jelly. And as a result, because of that extra tone that the muscles produce, you get tired. Whereas in this car, it's like sitting on a sofa driving around. I'm seriously going to consider buying the new Range Rover, because it's the P440e is a 440 brake horsepower. This is 280 and it's so fast. So I wonder what the 440 is like. And also the new one, so beautiful. Okay, I am in the new Range Rover and I'm absolutely loving it so far. I was thinking about this earlier, that all my life I've had so many cars, over 50, I can't even remember, I stopped counting. And every time I fall in love with a car, really, truly, deeply, it's always a British car. I loved my Aston Martin Rapide S, one of the best cars I've owned, and now this. This is the third Range Rover I've had. And every time I'm in a Range Rover, I think, fantastic. Yesterday, I was out in the Swedish countryside, and there was one point where I needed to go have a comfort break. Because it was in the middle of the forest, there was no loo anywhere. So I just drove through the forest onto these really bumpy, bad country, not even roads, not even dirt tracks, just farmland, into the forest, and I just put it into the higher suspension setting, chained it to rock climb, and just went in. No problem, no questions asked. Came out, lowered it back on the motorway, zoom. I am so happy with this car. I think they are so unappreciated. This is, like I said, my third one. I had a Sport, a Vogue, and now this Sport again. And I think I might go back to the bigger beast, because the split tailgate and the nice extra accessories and the plush interior, this is very nice. I'm not complaining, but that's another level. So let's see what happens when I get back to London. On the way back, I am going to go see the medium, the amazing lady who talks to the dead. I can't believe I have gone from being a complete science and logic freak to someone who's now going back to a medium to ask further questions. But this time my questions are more about the other dimensions and the other side. It's not about tell me what my future is. It's about I want to know what she sees and what's on the other side, and basically just to find out how this whole thing is an experience for her. I'm happy to pay her for it because it's knowledge I'm gaining. A very long update for a very short content. That's how we roll. Okay, can you please take his lead from the back seat? Go, Polo.
Won't you follow me?
Go.
Can you open the gate?
I don't have the remote.
That's on my car keys.
End of my trip after 21 days of traveling. Now on my way back to the UK. I haven't been filming for the last few days when I was in Netherlands and Belgium because it was raining every day, quite heavily. It was cold, the weather was really diabolical, and there was nothing exciting happening. It was just me with the family, eating, watching movies, staying indoors because it was too cold to go outside. Very strange that in Sweden it was 12 degrees and sunny and it was really nice. I was walking around in a t-shirt and came to Belgium and it was 14-16 degrees, but it was so cold, had to wear a sweater and a puffer jacket on top. I think it's the humidity in this region that makes you feel like it's really, really cold. Goes to your bones. Quite a fruitful trip. I'm going back to London feeling very satisfied with the outcome. I'm going to have to go back to Sweden for another month because I need to go and look at some houses, and while I'm there I can do it better than doing it remotely, which is virtually impossible. A lot of these places are in the remote countryside and they don't have much signal, and I think the estate agents are not used to doing video calls, and it's a bit backward. Also in this trip it's really cemented my initial thought that this car is definitely an amazing long distance cruiser and more fun. I'm driving with so much stuff everywhere. It's a mess. I don't really care. It's not like the 911. I don't really care how much crap there is and what's happening. And when I was in the countryside, I was going through fields and muddy places, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So when I go back, I'm going to advertise the 911 and sell it, even though my dealer was saying don't sell it, there's a very long waiting list for a couple of years to get one, and you have the spec that you wanted, it has everything that you wanted. I don't like it anymore. See, that's the thing, when you have something you don't really appreciate it and you don't really enjoy it as much. So I've had so many Porsches. I think maybe I got them out of my system, maybe I grew old, I don't know, and I don't care. That's one of the things I'm learning, to be content with less things than this gluttony of too many things. So I think if I have one Range Rover, then I should be fine with my long distance travels and everything else. Fingers crossed, because I say these things and then after a year I get bored of the cars, but I'm trying really, really hard to learn to be content with what I have and not get bored with things, because it's been the story of my life. Hundreds of thousands of pounds wasted in these years, maybe the last 10 years, maybe less, and it's ridiculous. Now I need to grow up and do better things in life than just buying and changing cars. Such a waste. but we all learn from our mistakes. Hello, and I am back in the UK. After driving around different countries in Europe, I got so used to driving on the right side that coming back driving on the left side seems a little confusing. Well, it took me a couple of minutes to get back into it, but the first roundabout that I got to, I was almost going to go to the other side, and I was like, oh no, the arrow is this way. So on this trip, I've done 3,200 miles in roughly 20 days. A lot of driving. And with the prices of the fuel so high at the moment, I think this is probably one of the most expensive trips I have done, fuel-wise, because that doesn't include the ferry crossings and tolls and bridges and all the other parking costs. So it was an expensive one, but there were so many things I needed to do, and the end result is that I returned to the UK feeling very aware of what I want to do next, and with some clear thoughts in my head as to the next steps of my life. So sometimes you need to go away from your day-to-day, regular, everyday life to realize what is it that you need to do, what's missing, where to go next, because we get caught up in the daily routine and it prevents us from looking at the bigger picture. Anyway, I thought I should report back that I'm back in the UK and provide a summary of my nonsensical videos. Hope you enjoy watching this stuff, and I will continue to make more, because even if a few thousand people watch it, it's worth it. It's my hobby and I enjoy it.